Chittagong. You played India back in 2023. The T20 is here, so looking forward to the challenge.
Yeah, really looking forward to the challenge, and like I say, it's been so nice to be back. Well, it used to be Chittagong, obviously, now it's Chattogram, so someone needs to tell me why the name's changed, but yeah, look, great to be back, and yeah, haven't played T20s in Bangladesh before, but always enjoyed coming here and competing against a very good quality team, especially in their conditions. So the chance to play some T20 cricket along with quite a few new players in the Black Cap side is something that's really special and very different to the first time I came here.
How is the finger on?
Yeah, the thumbs are unbelievable. Like, I had surgery probably 4.5, 5 weeks ago, and when I saw the X-ray initially, I thought it would be a really, really long recovery. But no, it's been really fortunate, and the surgeon did a great job. So yeah, back ready to go.
Bangladesh side is now they are maybe focusing on the pace. New Zealand Earth they faced a lot of problems. How do you want to handle this in T20 series?
Sorry, mate. Could you repeat the end of that?
How do you want to handle Bangladesh Pacers in T20 series?
Yeah. Look, I think the Bangladeshi Pacers were really, really impressive, and I think the way they bowled, they would have challenged almost every side in the world. I mean, Nahid Rana, I hadn't seen him bowl before, but he held his pace almost every ball that he bowled across 10 overs, and I don't think I've seen a lot of international bowlers be able to do that in Asian conditions before. So yeah, it looked really challenging, and I think to come away with a really good win and a couple of good individual performances from our batters is something that's quite positive. But obviously looking forward to this T20 series. Obviously the Bangladeshi side is a bit different. There might be some pace bowlers that we haven't seen before, so we're going to have to take some of the learnings that we had against some high-quality seamers in the last ODI series and try to do our best in the T20 series. But I think it's kind of good that they've had a taste of the conditions already.
There is no Nahid Rana and no Mustafiz, so does it gives you the more confidence?
But like I say, I think the way that Mustafizur and Nahid Rana bowled in the last series, I mean, them not being there, definitely poses slightly different challenges. But also there's a lot of unknown. Sometimes when you see players a few times, then you can build plans against different bowlers. But now it's a completely new side, and that'll present new challenges. But anytime you've got someone that's world class like the Fizz, and then obviously Nahid Rana the way he's bowling at the moment, definitely leaves a hole in your side.
You also talking about this. The New Zealand side have some new players. Bangladesh T20 side is more inexperienced compared to the ODI side. Do you think it could be a good fight between the newcomers?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's like international sport's so great. Like when I first came to Bangladesh. In 2013, the Black Cap side was completely different, and coming here now with some new faces, some young guys, some guys that have played a lot of domestic cricket but not so much international, and obviously Bangladesh being a completely different side. I remember the first Bangladesh team that I came and played against here. I don't think there'll be anyone in the team in the Bangladesh side that was there in 2013. So yeah, look, it's going to be a good challenge. Some inexperience with the players internationally, but that's the beauty of sport. There's a cycle that always changes, and I think we're really looking forward to the challenge. And Bangladesh always is going to be challenging in their conditions. They know how to bowl here, they know how to bat, so it's going to pose a good challenge. But I think with the amount of cricket we've played in Asia now, even the young guys, hopefully we've got the skills to be able to sustain it.
From your personal point of view, how is it to feel to you to plan for some new players, for some new batsmen? Which one is younger than you?
Yeah, look, that's very tough, because we don't often get to see a lot of the Bangladeshi domestic teams when we're over in New Zealand. So some of the names are a bit new. Obviously some experienced guys like Litton's there, and I'm pretty sure like Ridoy, a few players that have played quite a lot. So it's going to be a bit of a mix, but you just have to try to be really adaptive as a spin bowler. A lot of the batters can pose different threats on different days, so T20 cricket's like that. You just have to look within and hopefully come out on top.
Have you followed the development of Bangladeshi leg spinner Rishad Hussain? And you have quite similarities. You both are tall, and the way you bowl, there are some similarities. So what's your impression of it?
Yeah, look, he's been really, really good. I think the fact that he was able to go to Australia and bowl so well in the Big Bash, shows that he's a really versatile spin bowler. Sometimes when you see Asian leg spinners, they can often be quite low and skiddy and flat and that sort of thing. But he's quite traditional. He gets up and over the ball and gets a lot of bounce. And you know, it's probably a type of bowler that you haven't seen from this part of the world for a really long time. So I think he's such an exciting prospect and puts a lot of revs on the ball. And yeah, I sometimes message him every now and then on Instagram and that sort of thing. So it's quite cool to have that connection over here. And yeah, I think he's got a great future ahead, and hopefully he can even crack into some Test cricket. You know, it'll be really cool to see, you know, a leg spinner playing Test cricket again, which, you know, is quite rare these days, isn't it? So, but he's certainly got the skills to do that.
Over here?
Yes.
As most of the listeners are not available here, as they are committed into IPL, like franchises. How does the New Zealand cricketing system is coping up with that, and how does you guys coping up with that for the last minute score, and you know?
Sorry, bro. I need you to repeat that. Sorry, I'm not sure. I couldn't understand.
As white ball stars, most of your white ball stars are not available for this series.
Yeah.
How does the New Zealand cricketing system is coping up with that?
Like cricket stats or stars. Oh, okay, yeah, cool, yeah. Yeah, so I think I was talking to Lockie Ferguson actually when we were on transition and coming over here. He was going to the IPL, so we were on the same flight, and something came out in the news that there was about 40 or 50 New Zealand cricketers playing somewhere in the world at this time. You know, our domestic season, our home summer was over probably a month or so ago. So the fact that we've got so many cricketers playing around the world, I think, is brilliant for us as a cricketing board. The fact that we're still able to play international cricket during that IPL window and try to, you know, give guys opportunities that perhaps haven't played in some of those leagues or, you know, haven't experienced these conditions before, I think is amazing. And I think the great thing about New Zealand cricket teams is, you know, even if some of those big stars are playing in the IPL or in the PSL, etc., we've always been quite competitive in these series. So I don't know if you saw recently, like we were missing quite a few players from the India ODI series. You know, they were committed to some other cricket, but you know, we managed to play an amazing series and win that series. So the depth is great, and I think the chance to build on that depth is brilliant. As long as we can stay competitive against some really good teams, I think there's no real issue. Yeah.
You have been New Zealand side for more than a decade now. You have played in IPL, you have worked as an advisor player. Now you are here playing a bilateral series. How do you inspire yourself to play this kind of bilateral series, and what's the future for you as a cricketer?
Yeah, again, I've been really fortunate to have so many great experiences over the years. But yeah, I've never struggled with motivation when it comes to playing for New Zealand, and I think because my career has been, you know, started as a Test cricketer, then I went to T20, then I went back to Test cricket, I went to T20. I feel like, you know, there's always been something that keeps me, you know, challenges me and keeps me focused, which is really good. And you know, sometimes I think I have been around for a really long time and had those experiences, but you know, I'm only 33 years old, so it's not like I'm 38 or something like that, you know, and sort of starting to think, oh man, what's going on here? But yeah, the motivation's still really good there, and it's nice and strong. And you know, it's really nice now to also be able to have that experience and pass it on to the young spinners that are coming through, and you know, try to make a bit of an impact there. But you're always pretty motivated to play for New Zealand, and especially when you get to come overseas and you know, experience some new cultures and completely different environments. It's really exciting.
And this, have you spoken with Rishad? Do you have any suggestion for him?
Yeah, I've spoken to Rishad like a few times, like not necessarily about cricket, but yeah, I sort of speak to him a little bit every now and then. So during the series, I'll probably catch up with him and you know, get an idea of like, you know, how he's going and what works for him in these conditions, etc., etc. So, but I think he's such a talented bowler, and I think he's only going to get better and better. Like he's had such a great start to his international career and also franchise level, and I think he's just going to get better and better.
Your last tour of Bangladesh in 2023 was quite even. You got a 6 for in one against. You were called back by Rishad. So, anything to set the sparks flying this time?
To what, sorry?
Anything to set the sparks flying?
I see the sparks flying. Oh yeah. Oh, I think the sparks always fly. You know, like Bangladesh is such a passionate cricketing nation, and you know, they're very competitive guys, and yeah, who knows? You know, you just got to make sure you're nice and competitive and give it a good crack. But no, that was a great time to be a part of that series. And like I say, our team is very different from that series as well. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it goes. But it's always going to be competitive. Yeah.
With the last one here.
Bangladesh obviously didn't play the last T20 World Cup and you were the runners-up, and they will be playing T20 after a pretty long time. Do you think they will be morally down a bit because of not playing the World Cup?
Oh, you know, I'm not too sure, you know, what the moods in their camp and stuff is going to be like, but like I say, I think you know, they'll probably already be looking ahead to the next T20 World Cup. You know, the thing about international cricket nowadays is things move so quickly. You know, you almost have to leave some of those things in the past. And you know, I can't actually remember what the decision was around why they didn't go to the World Cup. But you know, a lot of those players that are playing now, like Bangladeshis, are very competitive and very motivated to play for their country. So, you know, especially when you get young guys coming in and playing for their country for the first time, they won't be thinking about, you know, why did we not go to the World Cup? They'll be thinking, right, I want to play for my country in front of my home crowd, and you know, be really excited about that. So. And then also the great thing about, you know, international cricket now is there's a T20 World Cup every 2 years, so you almost got to look at, you know, what you can do as a team or as an individual to be able to, you know, get back and play some of those world tournaments. And you know, what's gone is gone, and I think this might be a good start, like a fresh start for, you know, some of the Bangladeshi players, the young guys, and a chance for them to, you know, show what they're made of.